So it has been a few days. I have not given any talks, or maybe weeks, maybe months, because the atmosphere wasn't right. Dynamically, this environment for me to speak to you wasn't created. And I couldn't force it out, you know. I can say, well, I've got to give you this talk. It doesn't work that way, you see. Everything has to be naturally right to be able to give this talk. You see, this is not something planned or something logically asserted or reasonably thought out or planned. This is spontaneously happening, and I've been giving you this talk spontaneously. You see, there is no purpose, there is no grandeur expectation or desire here to get out of anything out of this talk except to express this energy that is behind this life, that itself is giving authority for me to speak. So I don't have to use anybody's book, I don't have to read anybody's book, I don't have to listen to anybody, because the energy is dynamically giving this talk. So, of course, those of you who are intelligent listening to me, whether via this or on the phone, certainly say, this is all crack talk, or this is something that is nonsense. Certainly, I can understand why you may say this is crackpot or nonsense, because the instrument that we are using, you see, does not know the living, breathing organism that is functioning here dynamically. Because the instrument only assumes what is happening here dynamically, you see. And we try to use this continuously, you see. And because we try to use this continuously, we constantly create something other than what is real, other than what is truth. So you create it. Anytime you have to create something is false for this dynamic living being organism. And the life, what we say, is just an idea. So living in a big house, or driving a nice car, or having money in the bank, or having luxurious things, are only ideas produced from the mind. And it is that idea, it creates the continuity of the capitalism. And here there is nothing against the dynamic life that is happening, you see. Whether it's capitalism, communism, whatever, you see. The life itself creates all this dynamism. And I happen to live in a country where this is capitalism. I have no problem, I am not against it. Matter of fact, this dynamism gives me resources which I accept to function in the society, you see. But there is no desire here. There is no demand here. There is no purpose here other than, of course, I get up in the morning, go to work. Of course, I have a purpose in work to deliver something for someone that is paying me. Of course, I have all that. I do all that to function in the society. That's it. Other than that, there is no value to function in the society. It does not tell me what is real. It does not tell me what is truth. It only tells me trivial truth that is assumed by the mind, whether my mind or somebody else's mind. You see, I can spend 25 years and I can produce many theories. You know, so this is just the idea. This is just the mind that is a tool for us to gather resources, to produce something, to make something. You see, you have to use that. You see, so because it creates many things that I see as dynamic or the grandeur, just like the civilization, skyscraper, rocket flying to Mars, to the moon. You see, things in mind is great, and in that level, yes, it appears as a great, but it does not know the reality. It does not know the living dynamism, everything that is living here. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm pointing out. Your own thought creates fear. Thought creates fear, so you have to, on Friday night, Saturday night, you have to drink to cover up that fear the mind itself created. You see, if you don't interfere the mind for this living organism, you don't have to cover up what is fear, because the fear is natural part of this mechanism, whole dynamic mechanism human being is functioning. You see, the heartbeat is functioning on its own. The heart is beating here, and you cannot get rid of the heartbeat. Only way you can get rid of the heartbeat is clinically dead. But the heart beats, and as long as the heart beats, the fear is there within human being to protect this dynamic organism. But the thought, you see, when you sharpen on the thought, it creates fear in you, which is psychological fear. And Friday night, Saturday night, you have to go drink something. Your scotch and beer and wine and whiskey and whatever. You see, because thought will never know the reality. It never know the truth. And commitment here in this human being or the dynamic living organism is to the truth and the reality. So when you're committed to the truth and the reality, is a natural functioning of this organism is to commitment to the truth, reality, and that you call it love. You see, so here is nothing but love. You see, nothing but truth and reality that this energy expresses. So that's why I give these talks, to point out that you have exactly the same thing that this human being has. There is no separation between this being and that being, and only separation that is here is this mechanism. Somewhere along the line, the nature placed this mechanism in human being that says, I am separate. I am separate from these objects. I am separate from the universe. I am separate from different human beings. But in reality, we are not separate. That's what I'm saying. We are separate because of this mechanism. And if I go on saying that we're not separate, everyone will call me loony. So I don't go on saying that everywhere, that we are not separate. We are separate in a sense of this way we look at it. This mechanism is making us look at it. See, through this mechanism, we are separate. Just like through these eyes, we see this world. In reality, it is not the true picture of the world. This is the interpretation of the data we receive through our eyes and goes in the mind and makes the interpretation. So what we see out there is not the true picture of the reality. And what mind assumes is seeing, hearing, perception, and thinks that is truth. It's not the truth. And it says that it's true because it's comprehensively accepted as truth. So what is the truth? Your mind will never know that.